La Havana, capital of Cuba, the Caribbean metropolis that for many decades has been so little loved and so badly neglected. Breathtakingly restored beauty alongside unbelievable ruins. The Queen of the Antilles, in a country that lies between sun and socialism, between rumba and revolution. In 1553, the Spanish conquerors nominated this harbour as a collection point for ships loaded with gold and silver from the new Spanish colonies and named the settlement San Cristobal de la Havana. To protect this gateway to the New World from attack by looters, several forts were built. Thus Cuba's oldest fortress complex originated, the Castello El Morro. The town, which lies in a natural harbour, soon became more important than the island's capital of Santiago, and was systematically developed with buildings of stone construction. The cathedral is located in a beautiful historic square in the heart of the old town. Everywhere there is joie de vivre, and Havana's friendly smiles are contagious. The most beautiful colonial square is the Plaza de Armas, and the former Duke's Palace was transformed into the Hotel Santa Isabel. Splendid antique furniture is on display in the Segundo Cabo Palace. The magnificently renovated colonial palace of the Captain General today houses the city's museum, with its impressive collection of statues, paintings and furniture. Giraldia was the famous mistress of the conquistador Hernán de Soto. From the tower of the Castillo de la Real Fuerza, the second oldest fortress in South America, each day Giraldia surveyed the horizon for her lover's return. La Havana, with its population of 3 million, is the capital, the heart of the island, an unbroken pulse at which past and present collide. The journey continues past the newly adapted cruise ship harbour, to the Plaza de San Francisco and the Lion Fountain dominating the centre of the renovated square, along with the gigantic facade of the cathedral. The Basilica San Francisco de Assisi was for many years the city's most elegant church. Today, it's a museum and concert hall. Everywhere there are small cafes, where not only aromatic Cuban coffee is served, but there's also a large selection of cigars and cigarillos from which to choose. The historic city palaces around the Plaza Vieja, the old square, have repeatedly been rescued from ruin. These old-timers are also closely associated with Cuba. One of the capital's oldest churches was built by black slaves, and with it, they bought their freedom. the Iglesia Espiritu Santo. Under King Carl III, victims of persecution sought asylum here. Wealthy families of the Sugar Dynasty, heroes of the Revolution, famous poets and intellectuals were laid to rest in the Necropolis de Colón. Close by lies the Plaza de la Revolución, where to this day Fidel Castro offers his latest invective. Although the capital is indeed lively and active, it shows no signs of being in a hurry. More than 2,000 workers constructed the Senate building, the Capitolio. A 94-meter-high dome crowns the building, and, tongue-in-cheek, Cuban style, in the exact center of the room, a 24-carat diamond marks the fictitious starting point of the motorway to Santiago. In front of the Capitolio, photographers and carriages await their next customers. And there are those who entertain with animals. Whether it be the Teatro Marti, the old tobacco factory, the famous Bacardi House, or the Floridita Bar, everywhere there is a feeling of nostalgia. And when the Daiquiri is served, one almost expects Fidel Castro or Ernest Hemingway to be seated at the next table. We leave La Havana in a westerly direction, to a charming paradise for those who love nature. And after a round trip of 80 kilometers, we arrive at the former residence of Don Ignacio Soroa. A narrow path through the woods and over many steps leads to a hidden waterfall. 40 meters below, the water plunges into a natural basin. The glistening water and magical peace are an open invitation for birds to take an undisturbed bath, and how tempting it would be to join them. On our return journey, we encounter a female artist who with great skill creates jewellery from glass. Continuing west along the Autopista Nacional, past fertile fields and hard-working farmers, our journey continues until we reach the provincial capital. Pinar del Rio, the Red Star and portraits of Che Guevara adorn modern Pinar, and in the old town, colourful houses with beautiful pillared corridors demonstrate the former wealth of the country's independent tobacco growers. The Teatro Milanese, luxurious old cultural palace and proud houses depict the status of the tobacco bourgeoisie that once resided here. Almost every house has a story to tell, and fine ornaments demonstrate the artistic styles of long ago. Here, time is of little importance, and one begins to think in the same relaxed tempo as the smoke rising from leisurely smoked cigars. The cathedral is also a reminder of the religious Spanish settlers who proudly cultivated the best tobacco in the world. And then the evening, and true life begins. Music, dance, rhythm, and Latin temperament all combine and are the energy and the lifeblood of the Cubans. Now they are unrestrained. A visit to a tobacco factory is a must. Cuba's cigars are world famous, and it's impossible to ignore the fascination of seeing the tobacco leaves rolled. For a modest wage, men and women roll and cut the best cigars in the world. The finished cigars are sorted and packed for sale. Alongside sugar, they are the country's most important export. The original inhabitants planted tobacco for medicinal reasons. Cultivation of the plant lay in the hands of the priests. On a tobacco plantation, we meet a famous tobacco planter who has granted us permission to visit. The precious tobacco plants grow and flourish beneath nets, which help to make the leaves of Cuban cigars so unique. The leaves are sorted and hung up to ferment and dry in casas de cura. Regular damping down ensures that they will ripen evenly. The extensive, endless tobacco fields mean brown gold for the country. Nowhere else in Cuba does the tobacco thrive as it does here in the west of the country. Like the backs of massive elephants, strange earth formations emerge from the valley of Sierra de los Órganos, christened Valle de Vinales by the country's seafarers. These are the Mogotes, the oldest geological formations in Cuba. Strongly weathered limestone peaks, which, supported by pillars, once covered a large complex of caves. Many cave roofs collapsed, and only the hardest limestone remained. Fertile land evolved, and today the finest tobacco is cultivated here. In 1920, a huge Indian cave was discovered, Cueva del Indio. After a short boat trip on an underground river, in the full light of day, we arrive at the opposite side of the hill. This perfect landscape resembles a Chinese watercolor painting, and the sun and the rain combine to enrich the captivating canvas of color. The hills and ancient remains in this beautiful valley are more dramatic than anywhere else on the island. The people call it the crocodile's tail. extends further into the southeast of the country, deeper and deeper into the exotic world of the Caribbean island. Past endless citrus plantations which thrive here in ideal climatic conditions. And as with sugar, tobacco and coffee form part of Cuba's export trade. There is all manner of transport here. At the roadside, a merchant has set up a smoking pyre to make charcoal for paying customers. On 7 man-made islands in the center of Ciénaga de Zapata National Park is the Indian village of Guama. This untouched swampy nature reserve, with its dense mangrove forest vegetation, is an ideal sanctuary for many rare water birds. Legend has it that the Siboney Indians sunk all their possessions here in the Laguna del Tesoro to protect their gold from the Spaniards. Today, however, there's no hint of this in the calmness of the lagoon. A visit to the Nature Reserve's Biological Research Station is highly recommended. A knowledgeable guide escorts us through the unspoiled reserve in search of the unusual. And suddenly we come across an amazing biological discovery: a fossilized fish which for many years was thought to have been extinct. Visitors enjoy the peace that radiates from this Garden of Eden. Welcome solitude in paradise. A constant omnipresent state escort leads the way through the bioreserve to track down the Cuban national bird, the tocororo. On the southern section of the peninsula stretch the Salinas, salty coastal landscapes that are home to pink flamingos. Also, the crocodile breeding station should not be missed. Proudly, the entrance exclaims, "An idea of the revolution." It's said that all these animals have been caught in the endless channels of the marshy peninsula. As though carved from stone, the crocodiles lie around lazily, but suddenly become active when the feeding begins. Small boats return to Guama, to a replica of the pre-Columbian village of the Siboney Indians. Here, the Cuban sculptress Rita Longa created 32 lifelike sculptures that seem to come alive with the last sunbeams of the day. And now the journey continues further southwards, through endless fields of banana plants that are cultivated as part of the country's communist economy. Continuing through small, colourful, sleepy villages, over hilly country roads, past Cuban cowboys, and hordes of workers who harvest the sugarcane with outdated machinery and transport. Today, the sugarcane is transported to the factories by train. The white gold is still the country's most important raw material. Just a short drive along the coast road until we reach the true centre of the country. In 1513, Trinidad was founded by the Spaniard Velázquez as the third settlement. In the 18th century, and prior to the Spaniards' conquest of Mexico, the city experienced wealth and recognition through the cultivation of sugarcane. The luxurious palaces and villas of the sugar barons still make their mark on the city and characterize the style of bygone days. These treasures of the past are well looked after and on public view. Short but heavy tropical rain showers add to the enchantment of the old town. Shimmering, damp, shiny stone facades and statues radiate an irresistible, dreamy charm. The drumming of the rain adds to an impression of an alluring legacy of several decades. Throughout the centuries, various religions have been practiced here, which in turn have influenced the island's own unique beliefs. From the vast profits of sugarcane cultivation, the plantation owners built elegant buildings and had furniture and artifacts shipped in from Europe. Benefiting from the mild climate, lush vegetation spills across the courtyards of the villas with green and tranquil beauty. The past remains as it was. Economic decline appears to have frozen this place. Here, time stands still and silent. Deep-felt religious beliefs are held in high reverence. All historical roads wind around the main square, the Plaza Mayor. The palace on the Plaza Mayor was built in 1740 by the Earl Nicholas Brunet family, who lived there for many decades. The bell tower of the Iglesia La Santísima is the symbol of Trinidad. In the former palace of the sugar baron, Cantero, is the History Museum, a feast to the eye. The visitor can marvel at porcelain, furniture from all over the world, and valuable crystal chandeliers. The sense of what it must have been like for plantation owners to live in this palace is overwhelming. Cuba is a melting pot of colonial culture, an overgrown and abundant Garden of Eden, a paradise at the end of the world.